Hey guys, welcome to Split. These are the Liberty 4 Pros, and they have a lot of things going for them. The buds themselves take a typical stem design like you've seen on the AirPods and so on, but they're not the star of the show here. The star is the case. So let's start with that. Personally, for me, they're a little bit on the large side, but not large enough for you to make is that a Soundcore Pro in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me joke? But it does have a nice smooth finish, and I mean like super shiny. You can get this in glossy black, glossy blue, and matte white. Matte white is the only one that doesn't shine because it's matte. This is the blue version. And the first features you can see here is the embedded screen. It has a touch-sensitive area in front, which lets you interact with that screen for controlling a bunch of options, which we'll get into in a minute. I know you're thinking, why put a screen on the case? Well, let me walk you through it, and then you can decide if it's gimmicky or not. Besides, other earbuds have done this, like the JBL, Live, or Tor, one of those two. But it's how it's implemented here that matters. Oh yeah, and if you get the matte white, you won't be able to see this digital screen through the case when it's closed because it's matte, yes. First up on the feature list is noise canceling. You can control this from the case, and it has 10 levels, which goes from transparency mode all the way through to full-on noise canceling. I think it's sort of useful because if it was a case where you just need to turn on and off, then it's just easier to just turn them off from the buds. That makes sense. But if you're picking specific levels associated with your preference per situation, per frequency, then I can see how this can be useful without whipping out your phone and digging into the settings and trying to find that perfect number every time. But your mileage will vary. Another weird feature is airplane mode, which isn't a feature to turn off your connections like you would have on your cell phone. It's more around using that 7th barometric pressure sensor to detect the factors around you, say for instance, if you're flying in an airplane, and using that to adjust ANC. This is aimed at solving the problem for some people who are sensitive to pressure, especially when they use noise canceling headphones and complain about ear pressure when using them. So hopefully this works as well. I tried it once, to be honest. I didn't feel much of a difference, but probably because I don't have that problem with using active noise canceling headphones where I feel that pressure. So I'm probably going to give them to someone else and let me know how that works out. If you do, hit me up in the comments below. Another weird feature is you can control remote shutter from the case. So you put your phone somewhere and you can take a picture through the case. Is there a situation where this could be useful? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if it's built into smartwatches, they figure you always have your smartwatch and that is tied to the phone, and that sort of makes sense. Samsung puts things like this on their stylus for the Note series, so I guess why not a case? I don't know. Let's debate in the comments below. Another one is Find My Earbuds. This isn't the geometric using the GPS style version, but it's really just direct connection where you tap on the case and it'll make the buds send out a loud tone so you can find them if they're stuck in a couch or something, which is pretty convenient. You can also control spatial audio for movie or music mode. And just to note, most of these features are off by default once you get them out of the box. You can only control your ANC. You have to dig into the app and then select what features you can control from your case. Again, for people who think this doesn't make any sense, why use that at all? You can just leave them all off, which is a cool option to have. In the app, there are a host of other features, and let's start with the ones I think which are fundamentally important, which is multi-pair. I think multi-pair is a must-have these days if you want to make the cut, and this works pretty well here. In the app, you can prioritize which 2 devices you wish to connect to or which ones you don't want to connect to at all. There is a Hear ID feature that tries to figure out the best sound for you. This can be a hit or miss depending on your responses during the setup process. It worked great for a friend of mine. Didn't work so great for me. I think I preferred my personal EQ, but let me know how you guys fare when you try this out. It does support LDAC playback. And I know codecs are controversial considering we all hear differently and not all of us can hear very finely tuned sound, but it is there for all your audiophiles when you want to critique the type of sound that's coming out of these when you use that codec. But keep in mind that codec does drain a little more power. Yeah, so there's that. And there is Easy Chat. Similar to what you find on Sony Buds, Speak to Chat. This turns the music down automatically when it senses that you're trying to talk to someone and turns on transparency mode so you can hear the conversation better. So let's talk about the buds for a second. They have 6 microphones dedicated to audio for your making phone calls and ANC, and 1 dedicated barometric pressure sensor. This is what is used for that feature I described earlier to help cancel pressurized situations like in an airplane and adapting that to ANC. In terms of controlling it, you can slide up and down on the stem for volume controls, but it's pinched to control everything else. You can decide what your pinch to control does in the app, but you cannot adjust the slide up and down for volume. In terms of how they sound, it's very consumer friendly and has decent, sometimes muddy bass depending on what you listen to. The mids and highs are also pretty alright. They're decent, they're okay, but not the quality and clarity you would get from the likes of Sony, Bose, or AirPods. Adaptive ANC here kicks in every 0.3 seconds and is good at dropping voices, but not as good as what you would get again from tier 1 buds. However, you have to remember they do have 10 levels of customization, which is not bad when you're looking to isolate certain frequencies, like I said before. So that is a compromise. When it comes to battery life, I got about 6 hours on a full charge with ANC on, blasting music. Combined with the case, Anker says you can get up to 30 hours on these bad boys with ANC, but up to 40 hours without ANC. There is also a quick charge feature which can give you up to 4 hours of playback from 5-minute charge. To wrap it up, even though they do have the typical STEM style design everyone is going for, including Samsung these days, they try to set themselves apart with the case. Yes, it's not the first pair of buds to put a screen on a case, but I have not seen other pairs with this many features packed in. Plus, for the price of 130 USD, they are definitely cheaper than Apple or Sony counterparts, but not as cheap as the Nothing Ear A, which I think sounds better in my personal opinion anyway. But the Nothing Ear A's don't have as many features as these pair are packing, which adds up to potentially way more value for your money. Not to mention that it comes with 5 extra tips right out of the box, from extra small to extra large, which is very thoughtful for the consumer. Let me know what you guys think about the Liberty 4 Pros. For me, it's a pretty easy recommend. I think it's a solid pair. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Take care.